Welcome back to the Graham Stefan Show. So a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to fly to Tennessee to meet Dave Ramsey in person, and while I was there, he asked if I wanted to come on with him and George to do a segment together, and I was so unbelievably nervous because everything they do goes out live. And generally, I tend to stay away from live stuff because I get really anxious that maybe I say the wrong thing and then it's out there. You can't edit all the mistakes, basically. So this was that segment, and I never expected this to ever happen. I've not seen this video since I was there, and I'm probably gonna cringe at myself because I was really nervous. But let's watch it, and I'll give you my thoughts on myself. Anyway, so make sure to subscribe, and make sure to hit the like button because it does help out the almighty YouTube algorithm. And now, let's see what I was up to.
George Campbell Ramsey personality is my co-host today. And one of his good friends and my new friends, Graham Stefan, has dropped by. Big-time real estate YouTube guy. Everybody knows who he is. Netflix famous.
Oh, yeah. 4 million subscribers on YouTube.
The Netflix famous, it's so funny because I'm in the background of Selling Sunset without a single speaking role. And it's funny because people point me out from the Netflix show. Now, chances are it's like they've seen the YouTube channel and then just happen to have seen me in the back. But it's funny how many people mention Selling Sunset. It's like, oh man, you're on Netflix. I'm like, yeah, my shoulder was in Netflix and I was in the background really blurry. All you got to do, by the way, if you want to see it, type in Graham Stefan Selling Sunset and you'll be able to see all of my scenes. Some guy went through the first like 2 seasons and found every single scene that I was in and compiled them together, which is incredible. So if you want to see it, all you got to do is look that up.
And it's incredible to be here because I really feel like I got a lot of my start watching you. And you were the one that really forged a path on YouTube before I even started.
I feel like my voice sounds so much different here. They use some incredible mics, but I'm listening to myself. I'm thinking, do I really sound like that? I guess so.
Weird thing is I actually didn't forge anything. It was just YouTube versions of this show. It was just YouTube watching in while we do this show. That's all I did. And our YouTube team clipping that stuff up and running it around. But
yeah, Dave Ramsey needs a much bigger YouTube team because I don't think he realizes just how much potential there is on YouTube. Like, I've met his entire YouTube team and I feel like they see the vision and they're pushing Dave like, yo, Dave, we gotta post more, we gotta do more stuff. Your whole YouTube team is doing so well and I think it deserves even more attention because YouTube, I feel like there's so much of a bigger audience on YouTube and so many new people that have not been exposed to like personal finance at all, that the opportunity there, you still can grow so much right now with YouTube and then even TikTok.
Okay, so I got my real estate license when I turned 18 too. 3 weeks after I turned 18 years old. My parents were in the business though, yours weren't. What inspired you to get into the business?
The truth is that I didn't have good grades in high school because I just wanted to work. And when I didn't get into college, I thought I have to do something for myself.
Oh yeah, geez, I was so nervous here. I don't know if you could tell, I probably just kept it cool, but you don't understand, like, behind the scenes, there are probably like 15 people monitoring everything, and then there's probably another 30 people watching this. And I'm just like, man, there's so many people, and now I'm on the spot, and it's being broadcast live on both the radio and on the YouTube channel. It's just so much. I don't like that. I love filming when there's nobody could hear me. I'm in a room by myself, and if I screw up something, I could just be like, Andrew, edit that. And if I screw up something, I could just say like, hey, edit that out. So this was nerve-wracking for me.
I want to get into doing something where I could be my own boss. And I thought, well, I could just go into real estate. I get my real estate license.
It bothers me. I got one hair. Got one hair that's down there. I don't know if any of you have noticed that prior to me pointing it out, but when I see it, it's all I can focus on now.
When I got my license at 18, I had like a suit that didn't fit real well, and one suit. The other suit was like a disco suit. And these were my dress-up clothes to go show houses in. And I still had trouble getting people to take me seriously because I was so stinking young. Did you run into that?
Oddly, no.
Yeah, by the way, I want to mention I did have one of those suits too. I thought I was like ballin'. I used some of my savings from working at the aquarium place to buy myself a suit, and it was like off the rack, and it was awful. I mean, look, like when I bought it, I thought like, oh man, this is such a good looking suit. Looking back, the whole thing was square, like it didn't quite fit right. Man, it basically just looked like I took my dad's suit as a kid and then just tailored it to fit lengthwise, but the whole thing just, man, I wasted money on that. I look so bad.
And that was my advantage, I think, early on, is that I would take the deals no one else wanted to take. And I saw that as my opportunity, that there's all this business out there that isn't worth anyone else's time. But when I'm 18, like earning a few $100s is a big deal for me. And so I would take on that business and I would work 24/7. So if they call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll get back to them.
Yeah, and that was true. There was a guy from, I think he was from Indonesia. And with the time difference, like sometimes I don't know if he just didn't understand or like didn't care, but sometimes I would get calls at like 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning and it would be him. And I would pick up the phone. I never ended up doing a deal with him at all, but he was legit. And he owns some sort of manufacturing business. And but you know what? I did what it takes. If he had a question, he wanted to line up a property. If he calls at 3 o'clock in the morning and says, I want to meet at 9 to see properties, I would just wake up, go on the computer, just email agents, wake up early to see if they've emailed me back. I mean, you just do what it takes.
I also wasn't sophisticated enough to like ever screw anybody over. So they knew I could never take advantage of them. I couldn't lie to them. I couldn't do anything besides just do my best, and that's what I did.
That's true, too. A lot of people were skeptical about real estate agents, and still are, because they might see them as like, oh, they're snake oil salesmen, they're sleazy, this and that. But we have a kid, all things considered, who's just like excited to be around the business and like do anything. Like, oh, this kid's never going to take advantage of me. They're never going to try to, like, switch offers or anything like that. So I feel like a lot of people just trusted me, gave me a chance, and knew that, like, I just wanted to work. I was just happy to be there.
How old were you when you bought your first piece of investment property?
21.
21, you bought your first rental house. And you paid cash for it.
Cash.
That means you were making some money as an agent.
Yes. Yeah, I really did my best to save as much money as I could. And, in the beginning, I saved because I didn't know when my next commission was going to be. And so sometimes I would go a few months without earning $1, but I was working like 12 hours a day.
This is, by the way, something that I was constantly thinking, because he would ask some of these things and I knew that I couldn't just say, yep, I was making money. End of the conversation. When you're doing something like this, I was constantly thinking about everything he said. I had to provide like a 30-second explanation of what was going on without being too draggy. Because I've seen some people talk about stories, or you ask them a question, they'll go off for like 10 minutes on something that was completely irrelevant. And I knew that we had a short amount of time. So I was like, anything he asks or implies, just talk about it for 30 seconds. Just summarize whatever you can. Then let him ask you something else.
Your YouTube viewers know you as being Frugal Jack. Your co-host says you're cheap.
I think Jack said that. It was one of the first things out of Jack's mouth. When you were talking on the podcast, which, by the way, it's on the Iced Coffee Hour if you want to see the full, like, 2 hour, or it's like an hour and a half. But anyway, Jack calls me cheap on there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny it. I think at this point, I just take pride in it. I like saving money.
As far as expenses go, I mean, a lot is discretionary. All you can eat sushi, I would say, is my big treat. Is like $30 all you can eat sushi in Las Vegas.
No, it's true. I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to. Macy and I are going out tonight to all you can eat sushi, $30. It's Sushi Neko in Las Vegas. If you guys are ever in Las Vegas, the places I recommend, Super Sushi is really good. Sushi Neko is really good. So check out one of those places. All you could eat. Reasonably, if you could do anything, it really kind of narrows it down to what brings a lot of joy. And for me, it's I love working. I love seeing progress, and all you could eat sushi and reef aquariums. Reef aquariums. I should have mentioned that in here.
But the reason we struck up this friendship was because we reacted to one of your TikTok videos where you were talking about how the best financial move you ever made was living on less than you make. Mm-hmm. And that has been one of our principles since Dave started 30 years ago. Where does that come from? Why are you not out there living the flashiest of lifestyles, just dropping money left and right?
Yeah, by the way, huge shout out to George Camel. I want him to really post videos on his own YouTube channel. We filmed a video together, and I'll put whatever link I can down below in the description. George is the one that made this all possible. So George, if you're watching this, huge thank you. Anytime you're in Las Vegas, let us know. Anytime you want us to come back to Tennessee, we'll be there. But George was able to put all of this together and made this happen. So if it wasn't for George, this whole thing would not have existed.
You asked me earlier what the most frugal thing that I would do, and it was using grocery bags as trash bags.
Instead of spending money on trash bags.
I didn't want to do it because I have the grocery bags. I don't want to waste them. I'm not going to throw them away, and they work just as well.
Look at Dave's face. I never noticed that. He's like, what? Grant, that's not rice and beans.
So rich people are all selfish and greedy, and they only look out for themselves. You ever heard that one?
All the time. All the time.
Yes, so this is an awkward part for me because he mentions that.
Have you ever heard that one?
And then I'm like
All the time.
expecting him to kind of fill in the space and then just like talk. And you hear my pause like all the time.
All the time.
And then I realized, like, oh crap, I gotta keep talking. So what am I gonna say about that? So that was, not my proudest moment there. Sometimes I don't know if he wants me to keep talking, and then I don't want to overstep. So I'm like, trying to figure it out here.
Young people especially who are wanting to build wealth, and they're not wanting to do a job they hate and wait 35 years to have money. Now, part of that leads to a lot of people being broke, right?
Yeah.
How do you kind of guard against that when you're giving advice?
Oh, gosh. I feel like there's a way to do it safely and smartly that's not, like, hypey. I'm personally not the one to, like, risk it all.
Yeah, see, when the music starts up, you know that they want you to finish up. It's like, hey, we got 30 seconds left. You got to end this now. But yeah, I'm definitely very safe and careful with what I say or suggest because I never want anyone to get in trouble. My biggest thought is that I never want someone to look at me or ever meet me in person and be like,
Yo, man, because you said this, I lost a lot of money taking your recommendation.
I always want it to be something where it's something that I would do myself. It's historically proven to work, and that's why it's always like, real estate with 20% down, a low fixed rate mortgage on a cash flowing rental property. There's not a lot of risk there if you're careful and diligent with what you're doing. Then dollar cost averaging into an S&P 500 index fund, I mean, it's pretty diversified, and you're dollar cost averaging in over 20 years. So stuff like that works for me. And generally, it's low risk. So I just got to be careful with what I say. That's all.
Thanks for dropping by, my friend.
Thank you. I really
Good to have
appreciate
you.
that.
Honored to have you with us. Graham
It's an
Stefan.
honor to be here.
Graham Stefan, ladies and gentlemen, be sure and check him out on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, so overall, great experience. Huge thank you to George for making all that happen. And I got to say, Dave Ramsey and his team were absolutely a 10 out of 10. I actually made a bit of a vlog that I'll be posting on my vlog channel. I rarely ever post on there, but again, I'll link to it down below in the description if you want to be a part of it. And also, one favor, guys. One favor, if I could ask something from you. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to my newsletter. It's totally free. I post there basically twice a week with all my research that goes into making the videos, except I include more in them because I end up cutting some stuff out for YouTube videos. So if you want to be a part of that, there's a whole bunch of links basically in the description. It would mean a lot to me if you check out that newsletter. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.